Okay, just like conditional statements, disjunctive statements require a particular strategy for challenging, and it begins with noticing the pattern we see here in our disjunction truth table, and we can see the only conditions under which a disjunctive statement is false is when the statements on the left side and the right side of the wedge, the disjunct, are both false. So one way to effectively attack a disjunctive premise statement is to try to prove that the two statements on each side of the wedge are actually false. So when we look at our argument here, we can maybe make a case that it's false that assault weapons will be banned. First of all, we could point to the difficulty we've had as a culture in defining what exactly an assault weapon is, and we could also point to recent efforts to try to ban them that have failed. And we can say that we don't have any reason to believe that future efforts will be successful. We could point to the political makeup of our legislative bodies and what their inclinations are towards assault weapon bans. Okay, but we would want to figure out some way to explain why we think that's a false statement. Similarly, we'd look at this mass shootings will increase statement, and again, we'd want to be bringing forward evidence to justify our claim that this statement's actually false. Maybe we bring forward statistics that show that even though we haven't had an assault weapons ban in place, mass shootings have been actually decreasing even without that ban. Okay, or maybe we point to incidents of mass shootings when there was an assault weapon ban and say, look, they didn't decrease and during this time, so there's no reason to believe that they're going to increase or decrease based on the existence of any assault weapon ban. Okay, another strategy for challenging a disjunctive statement is to argue that it's not the possibilities presented are not the only possibilities that exist, that there are other perfectly likely or equally likely possibilities to banning assault weapons or mass shootings increasing. Maybe we say something like, we have reason to believe that there's been some cultural shift and we're becoming less tolerant as a culture of violence, and therefore mass shootings are going to decrease because whatever the underlying causes are of them, those are diminishing in their impact. Okay, so if we can point to another option, that's an effective way to say that your statement is not a true statement because there are other options. So even though your second premise takes away one of the two options offered, that doesn't necessarily mean that your second option is true, because I'm pointing at this other option over here that you haven't yet considered. So maybe my option, my possibility is the real possibility here and not just the two that you've presented.